being with us today, sir.
Thank you.
We thank James Rickards and now continue to focus on sustainable development goals on Turkey. We will have a panel
Mr. James, thank
we
you
will
for
have
joining us.
Thank you.
the
Bye-bye.
Republic of Turkey Ministry of Industry and Technology Deputy Minister Mehmet Fatih Kaçır. Now we invite you to the stage, sir. Distinguished guests, welcome to the Turkish Capital Markets Summit. More than pleased to be with you today. Our nation has always prioritized environment and knew its worth. Looking at the Ottoman Empire, there are hundreds of archive documents that put an emphasis on keeping your environment clean, and they also created a certificate to keep the environment clean, and this is one of the first records ever. And also, Istanbul Airport has some great archive documents that reflect how important environment is for us. Well, with the pandemic, we went through an unprecedented time. All shops had to be closed, but we worked relentlessly to provide continuous service, and we wanted to make sure that the economy was going, and thanks be to God, we are now yielding the results. According to UN, global economy shrunk by 1.3, exports shrunk by 5.2, but looking at Turkey, Turkey grew by 1.8% in 2020, and Turkey positively decoupled from many global economies. Annual export continues to grow as well. In the last month, we saw a record high export level with $215 billion. Global Innovation Index was another successful era for us. We moved 41 rankings higher, and hopefully in the future we will get to an even better position. Distinguished participants, we are facing the results of both pandemic and the climate change. So if you're not bringing up solutions, then worse days are about to come, and digital transformation is always in the agenda. So European Union started its work in 2019, and they did not only come up with a policy, but they came up with a Green Deal plan, which is a perfect transformation. And this deal, of course, is related with our own economic efforts too. Last month, with the support of His Excellency Mr. Recep Tayyip Erdogan, we signed the Paris Agreement, and now it's in effect. Of course, such conventions and deals have a great importance in our own goals as well. By 2053, we target to have zero emission, and now we're also working on another certificate that is carried out with the coordination of our Ministry of Trade, and that is the Green Deal. The plan was announced on the 21st of July, and we want to make sure that we benefit from our sources efficiently, and we are always working hard to increase our national standards and revise if necessary. And the green transformation on the industry is not just limited to those efforts. Our country is also a hub for automotive sector, and so in this domain we are also playing a real leading role. Ford just announced that its Turkish factories will have a 2 billion euro of an investment for green efforts and batteries. For Ford and Volkswagen, it means that there will be electrical vehicles produced in Turkey. And again, the national car will be realized as an electric car. The project still continues, and God willing, by the end of 2022, we will start the production of TOG electric car, and they will be on the road by 2023. But of course, charging stations are critical. So countrywide, we need charging stations, and of course, all related ministries and stakeholders have prepared a roadmap. And within this plan, we need technical specifications, and we need a legislation framework to support charging stations. And it's not just limited to that. We have gained great capacity on electric buses. Autonomous and electric buses are now being exported. And in the future, all electric buses produced in Turkey will become widespread, and we're working on an incentive mechanism to make it happen. We talked about industry and production, but we have to talk about organized industrial zones as well, because they are at the heart of all of our efforts. In order to make them more environmentally friendly, we came up with a green organized industrial zone projects, and we had $300 million worth of fund from World Bank. Circular economy, sustainability, green transformation are all the main pillars of our efforts. In steel, iron, cement, and in all related sectors, again, we are working on a green roadmap, and we are working meticulously. Green growth will help us determine related technologies, and it'll help and support R&D efforts to make it happen. And of course, in order to have transfer mechanisms, we would need necessary infrastructure. And of course, financing is an important pillar of it. So in order to support the green gas reduction efforts, we are working on finding new financing resources. And the investments on renewables will be incentivized as well, and we always support such endeavors. So within this support plan, we try to come up with awareness campaigns, and of course we personalize it, we tailor it to fit the needs of each province. And the IPA help us realize such goals as well. So under IPA, our ministry is pursuing a competitive platform so that we can make green clusters happen, and so that we can reduce carbon footprints. And we have already realized many projects in this domain. In 2004-2020, given the EU policies, we have allocated 20% of IPA budget to climate change related projects. And thanks to IPA funds, we supported SMEs with green means, and we supported 3 projects with 3 billion euros. And in the new period, that is 2020 to 2027, of course, under Paris Conventions, at least 28% of IPA funds will be allocated to projects that tackle climate change. Of course, it'll help develop private sector, it'll help us with our R&D efforts, and it'll help us have our green transformation. Together with IPA, EU has 2021-2027 plan that Turkey can also join. And thanks to this new initiative, we can support new green transformation initiatives as well. TÜBİTAK will be a part of this initiative, and this 94 billion euro budget will support green projects in all domains. And of course, in order to make it all happen, we have to have access to international financing channels. So we are carrying out all the necessary works to realize our projects and hit our goals. In order to realize sustainable development goals, we also need highly qualified human resources. So as the ministry, we are providing different reliefs. For example, TÜBİTAK Leader Researchers Program and National Leader Researchers Program will help us train the science people that will make our green transformation a reality. So researchers from distinguished universities such as Harvard or MIT are now in Turkey, and we support their endeavors as well. When we need innovative solutions, well, the intergovernmental research groups are there to help us. For example, Professor Eric Jepson still continues his efforts in our country thanks to this program. And with TÜBİTAK programs, I believe that all other scientists from all around the world can come to Turkey to continue their efforts. Dr. Sinan Küfeoğlu focused on renewable energies, and he transferred his projects that were started abroad to Turkey. He mainly focuses on water pollution, and his efforts are ongoing in Turkey. Again, Sentin Retinol focuses on solid waste management, and now he continues his researches in Turkey. Thanks to TÜBİTAK supports, all international scientists now come to Turkey, and this way we are doing the very best we can to stop brain drain. And with National Researchers Program, many scientists arrive in Turkey to continue their works on climate change. For example, such as Professor Güney Ilıcak focuses on the possibilities in the southern part of Turkey so that he can come up with a tailor-made climate change action plan. Again, Dr. Seçkin Akın focuses on renewables, and he works in Turkey. Dr. Emel Topuz again receives support from TÜBİTAK, and she continues her project that focuses on solid waste management. And of course, we prioritize centers that make it all happen. ODTÜ Günam carries out various projects on solar energy. And this is just one example. Technical and human resources are leading among the globe with its photovoltaic capabilities. And it is more than just being a solar institution. Thanks to this center, we can widespread solar power to many domains. In terms of sustainable development goals, in terms of achieving sustainable development goals, our ministry carries out several projects, but all projects are there to make our industries greener. As I end my remarks, both the Green Deal plan and other conventions and agreements, we believe that such initiatives are opportunities to be seized and made the most out of. As you know, great crises bring great opportunities, and a new setting, let's change this climate change, and let's take steps forward so that we can differentiate ourselves in all domains. Given our economic power and human resources, we have all the capacity to make this transformation happen. Together, we can make Turkey a leading country in terms of green transformation. As I end my remarks, I again salute you all with love and respect.
Thank you very much, dear Koca, for your valuable words. Now, roadmap in sustainability will be explained by Mr. Mustafa Turan about the Borrowing General Directorate of the Ministry of Treasury and Finance. Distinguished guests, I would like to greet you all. When it comes to sustainability, this is one of my favorite topics. And this is one of the main themes of the Capital Markets Congress. And it's a very timely and accurate choice to make the theme sustainability. I would like to congratulate the chairman of the association and the entire team. Now, to begin with, the risks brought about by climate change, their magnitude and their scope are climbing significant levels and serious levels every single day. And as you know, this is in our lives, you know, floods and fires and drought, etc. This have become a part of our lives. So struggling with climate change started to be of further significance. And as you know, in 2019, the European Green Deal was published, and an important component was threshold carbon regulations, or the carbon border adjustment mechanism. As Mr. Minister has mentioned, these are risks and opportunities because carbon border adjustment mechanism, if we cannot adapt to that, that will bring about additional taxes and export restrictions for us, which is going to have effects on our economy, particularly at the phase when we're trying to make leaps forward in exports. It's going to be quite adverse. And additionally, with a striking note recently, the concept of sustainability are internalized by certain applications. Up to a few years ago, the concept of sustainability was relatively luxurious and it was perceived like the marketing aspect of things, but things have changed. And on the contrary, in the present, the concept of sustainability is indispensable for business models, and sustainable finance likewise is a sine qua non for finances. And I will be supporting this thesis with few facts and figures soon. But up until quite recently, what was perceived as sustainability, forgive my expression, it used to be the cherry on top. But now the concept of sustainability is the cake itself. Please make a note of that. And as the Turkish Republic, we're seriously working on this because this year in March, we have announced a reform program, and the issue of sustainability has many action plans surrounding it. And I'm happy to tell you that the majority of these action plans have already been implemented. It was another important step was the bond framework program to be carried out and implemented by our ministry. As you know, the Green Deal Action Plan was announced in July, and this plan is the roadmap. This is going to be the roadmap of our country. And also in October, the Paris Convention was sanctioned, it passed in the parliament, and zero carbon target was also announced. These are important milestones. So the year 2021, from a historical, was a year that Turkey took concrete steps in sustainability. The Vision 2053 aims at zero carbons. And in order to attain this vision, the finance industry's support and transformation is necessary as much as the industry. The concept of sustainability needs to be internalized by the financial sector, both with with its own stakeholders, and it's going to create added value for the industry itself and for the stakeholders. Now, dear guests, I would like to support these arguments with some facts and figures. As of September 2021, ESGs, that is environmental, social, and governance in the ESG markets, the size of the investors were $2.3 trillion, and half of these investments consist of green bonds, and ESG compatible bond stock across the world has reached $2.1 trillion. And only this year, there was an issuance of over $700 billion. And year to date, the bond issuance across the world, approximately 25% of them are in ESG format. And there is a massive growth, as the figures indicate, which we expect to grow more in the near future. So the concept of sustainability is indispensable for the financial world now. So where are we as a country? What are we doing? To begin with, our state has a holistic approach, I can tell you that. And we have had many developments recently. For instance, carbon emission calculation and verification infrastructure is going to be built following a taxonomy study, and identifying joint and common standards is the core of the sustainability concept. So we have identified this as the Ministry of Environment and Urbanization as part of the Green Deal Action Plan. This is a very comprehensive work, but following the taxonomy works, in every domain of the real sector, we will be able to see its impacts clearly. As for increasing access to green financing, our minister has made certain comments, and the capital market board's chairman gave explanations. I'm not going to go into further details, but a draft guide was prepared for the capital market, and the non-bank issuers entrance into the sustainable bond market is expected. Turkey is a relatively good example because since 2016, ESG bonds are being issued under the leadership of bonds. There's a total issuance of $4 billion at this stage, and we have been receiving issuances for 5 years. It began with TSKD, Vakıf Bank, Ziraat Bank, and it continued like financial institutions like this. And we saw some non-finance issues, which made us very happy, such as Idem Energy or Arçelik, and this figure of $4 billion is no small feat, and we expect it to be accelerated in the coming years. And last week on Friday, what did we do as a ministry? Last week on Friday, on our website, Turkish Treasury's ESG bond framework was published, was announced. This is an important document. We have been preparing for this for over a year. So as the Turkish issuance, when it comes to international issuance bonds, green, social, and hybrid format, that is sustainable bond issuances, will be done through this framework document. And additionally, one of the biggest Sustainalytics company, which is the biggest player in this domain, gave us an approval, and so our Eurobond issuances is not capable to do those issuances within a sustainable framework. The fact that we have taken this step we hope will constitute a step, and we expect that and we support it to be a model for the other issuers in Turkey. So I suggest you examine those documents, because that the sustainable bond framework is an informatory document. It explains what we need to do, and it's an important policy framework document. The second party opinions have been obtained, and on a global scale, as it's one of the best practice documents, so the capital market stakeholders as well as the potential stakeholders can use it as an important indicator, and I wish them the best. So 2021 was an important year, as I said, because we launched our ESG program. And additionally, as you know, leading the European Union, as far as the Green Deal is concerned, there are certain significant loan packages and loan stimulus, and there was a $3 billion deal. And most recently, leading with the World Bank, European Investment Bank, EBRD, and other IFRs are concentrating on Green Deal loans, and this is going to increasingly continue in the coming days. And the industries that are unable to reduce their carbon footprints and the financing of new investments that will increase carbon emissions will be more challenging, difficult. If we were to do this conference 5 years ago, or we would have been talking about sustainability as a new concept. But in the present day, finance and real economy have sustainability as an inseparable part of their structure. And supply chains, companies that have no respect for sustainability don't have a place. You know, textiles using cotton manufactured in certain places in China, the European companies don't want to buy it. The consumers don't want to buy it. So all the methods of doing business are revolving and evolving around the axis of sustainability, and the finance industry, I hope, will be leading in our country. And we have seen good examples up until now. And I hope that it's not about foreign currency bond issues, but sustainability reporting and integrated reporting merged with activity reports will spread to all industries, and the guidelines and other regulations led by the Capital Market Board will see the domestic and international borrowing instruments will have sustainability as an important part of them. I trust that, and there is no doubt that the world is allowing evolving there, and we will adapt, and I hope we can have a place in this global competition setting. I want to end my words here, and the attendees here, the physical attendees or the online attendees might have questions, and I would like to answer them. Thank you, Mr. Turan. I think there are no questions. Let us ask, maybe there are some online questions. Let us ask if there are questions online. There are no online questions either. Thank you. We don't have a question, but we will be presenting a small gift for you to as a remembrance of this day. Dear Mr. Ibrahim Öztok, the chairman of the Turkish Capital Markets Association.
Sayın Başkanım, Sayın Turan, çok teşekkür ederim.
Thank you very much, dear chairman, dear